Sideman musician.
I work with every kind of band, but after all these years, there's still some
Hey, Dave.
things that I
Want a
can
little
never
smile?
understand.
This is Dave
Like,
Toll.
why do people bother clapping when they've been talking all night long? Why do they have to ask their questions in the middle of the song? But of all these things, the one I truly dread
Dave Toll.
is when band leaders make me haggle just to get my bread.
The pain of the musician, man.
I just wanna get paid. You can't forget about the deal that we made. I get my money when the gig is complete. But now it's time to write checks and you're dragging your feet. It's late and I'm starting to fade, and I just wanna get paid.
Can you relate to the jazz musician?
I just wanna get
Maybe you want to get paid. You're waiting.
I took the gig despite how badly you play. Then you made it your business to keep turning around to give me gems of advice how to work on my sound. I almost walked, but I stayed because I just want to get paid.
Yeah. A little fun today.
I packed my things at the end of the bash, and I've been waiting to hit the streets. But when I tracked you down to get my cash, you said, oh, just put your address on this sheet. No, I just wanna get paid.
Just want to get paid.
Your little story just don't make the grade. Your check will tell
Tammy!
and there's no cash here, but you've got plenty of dough to pay for all of that beer you've been sucking down like lemonade. I just wanna get paid.
I just want to get paid. This is Dave Toll, fabulous vocalist and drummer, and he's got a hilarious album where he does humorous jazz songs, and I'll play some more this week. There's an awesome tune in here. He talks about having a really great, tight jazz trio, and the person who comes up and wants to sit in and sing a song is not so good. It's called The Minutes Pass Like Hours When You Sing. It's really fun. And I just thought we needed a little fun. We needed some classic jazz, and we need to just take the Thursday tip. Andrea's Thursday theatrical is going to now get a tip to go with it, right, Andrea? I'll give it to you.
And I've been waiting to hit the street.
This is so good, though. Hello, Kansas.
To get my cash, she said, oh yeah, just put your address on this sheet. No, I just wanna get paid.
I just want to get paid.
Your little story just don't make the grade. Your checkbook's at home and there's no cash here, but you've got plenty of dough to pay for all of that.
Hello.
beer you've been sucking down like lemonade. I
Just want to get paid.
Well, the gig was so long and the breaks were all short, but now we played the last song, so the ball's in your court. I'm standing here jingling the keys to my car while you rap with some chick at the end of the bar. The club owner hands
Almost
a
over.
stack of 20s to you, but now you need a whole week for his check to go through. What about that tip we made? I just wanna get paid. You know I'd love to play my music, even if it has to be with you. I'll give you everything I've got each night, and my demands are very few. Just don't treat your side musicians like some possession that you own. Say the same thing when we're working that you told me on the phone. But still sometimes before the gig I pray
thinking that too. You don't have to be a jazz musician right now to feel that. Like, I just want to get paid. I just need to get paid. Look, I'm going to give you a quick tip today. A little shift your power tip. We've talked, big terms. We've talked strategy. We've challenged ourselves about standing with our words and not moving off the because I said so of what God said and what we need to say and what we need to stand on to see these things manifest through us. I want to just give you a little tip after some fun jazz music. I want to ask you, what do you think? It's very simple, my friends. Feelings follow thoughts. Feelings are created by thoughts. That's why when we have thoughts that swirl around memories, and that thoughts creating beliefs, creating self-talk, turn into feelings. So when you are getting up and whatever it is hammering and yammering at you, and you feel that emotion begin to well up in you, that anxiousness, that discomfort, the first thing we want to ask is, what was I thinking? What was I thinking just now? What little thought, what attitude, what belief just waltzed right through your mind and felt like a feeling instead of a thought? You'll find out that there's actually a thought on a layer beneath your feeling of fear and anxiety and discomfort that is the thing you need to deal with. And this is just a little tip, because thoughts become attitudes, become choices and feelings. I mean, there's a whole little train of how things develop in the brain and how painful things are stored in our cells as pictures and memories. So let's just get an example. Yesterday I was walking out with the dog and letting the dog run in the fields and stuff to walk past somebody's house. And I immediately get this image in my mind of this person's sense of displeasure with me. And it calls up this, in an instant, it calls up the awareness of this person kind of pushing me out of a situation. And the only way I knew how to interpret that was, I offended. They don't like what I did. This was, I didn't do anything wrong, but I bumped into somebody else's belief system, right? But it happened in a flash. It goes through your mind like a flash, just an image. You get an image, some kind of cognitive thought, and almost exactly at the same time, in comes a feeling, and it wells up in you as if it has its own life, as if it is as if everything that is reality. And the feeling then takes your body over, and you kind of just have it becomes a reality, an experience. I feel this is real, this has weight. But if you actually stop and think, you'll realize that every feeling that you've had throughout the day, positive or negative, came from a thought. And the thought, depending on how deep it goes and into your belief system, then creates that level of feeling in us, right? It's an aperture. Every thought is an aperture. Every image is an aperture. It opens up, and depending on, again, what's going in, you have like this much of an opening, or maybe this much of an opening, right? So me just walking past, by the way, Larry, thanks for sending me Kirk Whalen. So just walking past someplace, immediately association, image, thought, flow, quick, emotion, anxiety, sadness, concern. Then comes the next thought. Well, I guess I offended. I guess I hurt them. I guess she doesn't like me. What should I do? Should I do something about it? Should I follow up? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? And then all of a sudden comes the cascade. But really, if you think about it, and this is just a tip for you guys to think about, because every single emotion comes from a thought, especially and depending on if it's like a belief, like a real deep-seated belief that then is picking up on these tendrils of experience, right? Yeah, exactly. We've got to I'm just telling you, though, this is how you become strong-minded, strong with your mind, is that you need to immediately identify the thought and go after it and go, no, I got a different thought. And my thought is, hello, I'm strong. I'm fine. I'm this, I'm that. God is this, God is that. And immediately out of your mouth needs to come, oh no, I have great favor there. I have favor there. God used what I did, even if it was in a moment of, less than perfect connection with this person. God is at work. Boom, I changed the thought, and you'll feel the emotion shift immediately. And the more you have that experience, the more you move out of strength rather than out of sensitivity, just being so sensitive all the time. That's trained in us. The sensitivity, the concern about offenses, hurting other people's feelings, them maybe not liking us, is a trained response to a series of thoughts that we have catastrophized. We've learned to catastrophize emotions, to go, oh my gosh, that I feel it, therefore it is the most real thing about what I'm doing. But really, in the simplest, just basic, just tip level, what can I do today? Got to realize that a feeling is a concern response, a fear, fight, flight type of response. It comes out of a thought. And the thought may not even be true. And so if you'll stop and instead of focusing on the feeling and understand the thought, you'll be able to displace it. And you'll be able to move into a different set of feelings. It's amazing, like as I've been mentoring my friend in Italy, who was raised in a very specific church tradition where there was a lot of begging and a lot of, hoping and a lot of, oh God, please, 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 please. I've been mentoring her in declarative thanksgiving prayer. Whenever she does that, she feels, it changes the state of her body. It changes the chemical responses in her, and she steps into strength and encouragement, right? And so we want to get there quickly. And so I want you to think what you think. What are you thinking? My husband's here. Would you like to meet Mark? You're here for a reason. Come over and say hi. Would you like to meet Mark? He's picking up the trash because he's just that kind of a guy.
Yes, I'm responsible for the solid waste disposal in our household.
Don't you recognize him from the famous family video? Yes, the guy who sat there with the gun, the shotgun.
Oh, look at all these people responding to you. That's awesome.
Yeah, I know. I got hearts. I got unconditional hearts right there. That's just, I haven't even done anything important.
That's lovely.
All right. So anyways.
I'm off in the rain to take the rubbish to the rubbish bin.
Thank you, honey.
Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Say thank you, Mark. He's the reason why I can do any of this stuff, honestly. Otherwise, what would I be doing? I'd be a Walmart greeter, wouldn't I? Something like that?
I don't think so. I think you'd be, you'd be doing something fabulous, like teaching people how to live unconditionally with love.
Yes, there you go. Well, I did teach a lot of voice and do a lot of interesting things before.
True.
Anyways, hello. Look, if you can trot out your kid, Greg Harvey, I could, anything's possible. I love when your son comes out. Okay, back to the thing. If we can stop thinking about what, focusing on what we feel and start immediately shifting to what did I just think? What thought walked through my mind? And what do I do about that thought? Do I receive it, accept it, give it the microphone, the megaphone? Or do I immediately say, no, I dispute your reality and substitute mine? I dispute what you are saying to me, and I right now substitute a higher truth. Do we do that? Right? And it's very simple. So I want us, and this is how we become strong and not little socially worried people. So for example, my daughter's been doing a lot of debate, and she's throwing out, she likes to throw bombs into social media settings and have conversations. But it instantly turns from thought, dealing with thought, into worshiping feelings and sensitivities. Guys, we do the same thing. We're little snowflakes. Those of us who were trained relentlessly by life experiences and by not having strong, heroic people in our lives to teach us, we were trained to be little snowflakes on the inside, to walk around afraid and anxious, and we just thought that was the normal. And we just thought that some people had the happy, confident chip, and we didn't because we're nice little people pleasers. That is all trained. That is all reinforced. Imagine if we had strong figures in our lives teaching us to walk around enforcing truth and modeling for us that we don't crumple when people dislike us. We don't crumple if we have to bring offense in love to a situation. That we're strong. My precious mama, who is so just an incredible opera singer and artistic person, and she's in heaven now and she's having a ball, and she's doing great things with my dad, but she was terrified of conflict. And what I learned by watching her was that if you had conflict and somebody didn't like you, or there was some kind of discomfort in the relationship, that it was awful. It was the worst thing that could ever happen. And I learned how to be afraid in that way from my mom. Other things she taught me were great, right? And you can just, where'd you go here? Hang on. Anyways, we're not going there because that's not what this is about. This is not a forum this is a forum for truth. And this is a forum for teaching us how to respond to what's in here, right? And so what we're saying here is that we've got to be responsible for our own mindset and peaceable condition. And that comes not by our response to feeling, but our analysis of thought, right? The Bible doesn't say to bring every feeling captive. It says to bring every thought captive. Be ye transformed in the spirit of your feelings. Now, we do understand that mind experience, has reactions and feelings. I'm just saying that feelings are on the train farther down from the thought patterns. And so we've got to stop focusing on the feelings and the sensitivities and the anxious arousal within us, and hop immediately to the analysis of the thought. What was the thought? And you just go to that thought. And it's so simple. I should charge for this. No, it's so simple. You simply go, wait a minute. That's not even what I'm going to stand on. That's not even going to move on. I had a vision, a little picture, a sense, a little memory of our interaction. I saw her face, and there was this immediate thought bubble picture of what that meant. And as I walked, I basically said, oh no, that's not what we're doing. I have favor. God is giving me favor. I'm going to have a conversation with that person. I'm going to move into a relationship. That thing is shifting. And by the way, I am approved of by my Heavenly Father, and I'm secure. And, there's going to be I know it's hard for you people to imagine. I know it's hard for you to imagine. But some of you out there aren't going to like me at all. And you turned me off long ago. Well, as Joyce Meyer says, consistently, there's probably, I don't know where she got her numbers, but she said like 10% of the people in the world that you meet aren't going to like you no matter what you do, And so the problem here is just to make a quick shift, to be on the thought and to be replacing it out loud with the truth. Very simple. This is not, and the more we do it, the more resilient we become. And we can we can debate our thoughts. We can debate our ideas instead of name calling, right? Instead of name calling. I will give myself the moniker snowflake when I go off into my little poor me anxious, puddle. And I think that this is my reality and this is who I am and that's my identity. I'm like, hello, snowflake, time to wake up. But in conversation with others, I don't have to resort to calling them this, that, or the other thing. I can move in strength. I can stand. So if I come against that thing, that discomfort in that relationship, guess what? My thought now is, my consistent, chosen, intentional thought is, good. That's strengthening me. I'm at peace because God is moving in me and he's moving in that relationship. And guess what? He is using that interaction to bring something about that's awesome. Can you stop? Can you simply stop and stop feeling for a minute? Go to your thought, deal with your thought, and stay there long enough. You'll see the feeling change. You will totally see the feeling change. And if it lingers, it just means that's more of a workout for you. And if it's a big aperture, then It's time to go in and get some healing maybe over that situation and that memory. It's not that hard. It's not that complicated. You know what I'm saying? How was that? That was easy. You know, really.
Dave Toll.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's all. Yeah, I know. Imagine if we taught that. I got to tell you, you know, I had these kids and we created this safe place, so my kids began to contend with me. I never contended with my parents. We got the idea that the worst possible thing you could do was question authority, and at that point, authority was fairly biblically literate around us. We were just told, be nice, be nice, be nice, and I learned from my mom that conflict and disapproval could kill me, and so when I started having kids, I had to rethink this whole thing, and I had to create an environment where it was safe for them to contend. In respect, but contend. And guess what? They are fierce. Man, they just don't wake up every morning with an existential crisis about if people like them or not. They don't look to be disliked, but why? Because they were in an environment where the people they were watching, I was learning to get well. I was learning to be whole. So are you, right? Right? So what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Today you felt some anxiety, you felt some concern, you worried about whether you were going to get paid. You know, you worried, you got upset, you felt anxious. What did you think? What did you think? What do you think? What thoughts consistently come through your mind on a daily basis? Move past the emotion, go into the thought, have a nice fight with it. Go have a nice fight with your thought. Take it down, wrestle it to the mat, replace it, say it out loud, and watch. The feelings will
Just put your address on this sheet.
change.
Just wanna get paid.
Okay, is that good? Thoughts? Emotion?
Don't make the grade.
It's a combination of revelation and simple daily things that we do over and over to enforce heaven's order in our thoughts, right?
I just wanna get paid.
I can play music all day long. So, by the way, if you like what I do here with the music, please go to dreamfarmradio.org and put in your email address, and you'll get our weekly jazz radio shows for free with no spam, just a wonderful show every week. I have the live musicians that performed here in the barn, some of the best musicians in the whole world, because Boston is a gathering point for world musicians who come here to study. I've had so many on my show. I always would interview them about their creative process. I always would perform with them in my shows. And so you can get those for free, dreamfarmradio.org. And there's a nice set of archives. You can see pictures of the farm there. You can click off to other stuff I've done. It's a really fun site. So
At the end of the bash, and I've been waiting to hit the street. But when I tracked you down to get my cash, you said, oh yeah, just put your address on this sheet. No,
So I want worship that sounds like this. What do you think? We're going to do it.
your checkbook's at home and there's no cash here, but you've got plenty of dough to pay for all of that gear. You've been sucking down like lemonade. I just wanna get paid.
Solo section.
Well, the gig was so long,
All right, you guys.
we're all
What do you think?
but now we play
That's the question. What do you think? I will see. Go do something that scares you, like actually look past the emotion to what you think. And kick that thought right out the door. Kick it to the curb. All right. I'll see you tomorrow.